Hi, and welcome back to another round of IronQuest feedback. I'll be your host today. My name's Sarah Bartlett, and you can find me at Sarah Loves Data on Twitter and on YouTube. And we're here today to go through some feedback for the entries we received for the most recent round, which was centered around maps. So the task for this round was to essentially viz anything with a map in it. So I'm excited to share feedback with you today. I'm going to be joined by 3 guest hosts. So let's meet them. Okay, hi everyone. It's a pleasure to have you all here today. Thank you for joining me. I know it's been a bit of a challenge when we're all located all across the globe, but we made it work somehow. So go us. Okay, so I'd like to go through and do some quick introductions with you all. So I know obviously you've just set up the Data Plus Maps tug, which is kicking off next week, which is really exciting. So I'll go around. If you could just say a few short words about yourselves and a quick intro, that would be great. So Tor, I'll start with you.
Hello, Tore from Norway, Tableau Jedi, which I named myself many years ago. Started working with Tableau in version 7 when they introduced filled maps. I run the Norwegian Tableau user group and I'm a Tableau ambassador. And during the Tableau conference in San Diego, got this idea that there is no specific user group for maps or geographic or spatial. So I had this idea, and now we have 4 people running this new tug starting next week. Where one of them is Dennis. Morning, Dennis.
Morning. Good morning, everybody. So my name is Dennis. I'm a social work professor at Carleton University, which is based in Ottawa. I've been using Tableau for about 3.5 years, but I've been doing GIS mapping for about almost 15 years. So um, I really enjoyed kind of the journey of kind of taking my maps and really using Tableau and taking advantage of what Tableau has to offer to create maps. And so just the opportunity to kind of be here. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Dennis. Teddy?
Hi, good day from Jakarta, everyone. My name is Teddy Iskandar. Basically, I'm a custom officer in Indonesian custom. I'm a Tableau user since 2015, since 9 version, I think. So I'm happy to run Jakarta Tableau user co-leader and as well being a co-leader for data and maps Tableau user group. Thank you, Sarah. Be back
Thank
to
you.
you.
Thanks, everyone. All right, so let's get started. So we're going to kick off by reviewing a viz by Aakarsh. So let's get to it. So this one is looking at the hawker centers in Singapore. So we have this one, circular map here. It's very beautiful, for sure. Anyone
Yeah,
got thoughts?
coming from Norway, I'm not sure if this is because I'm from Norway, but I don't know what a hawker center is, and I didn't see any specifications in this the first overview of what it is. I did Google it, obviously, but I'm missing some information about what we actually are looking at. The map is beautiful, I have to say, like the circular form as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the simple design. I love circular maps. Dennis, they remind me of you every time. Dennis, so I wonder if someone wanted to do something like this, what would you recommend? Because I know you've spoken about this before.
Yeah, there's different ways. I mean, Sarah, you wrote kind of a piece a while back
I
about
did.
how to create a circular map. So there's a way to kind of use kind of like an image and bringing it in and things like that. I personally do it in GIS software and create the maps and then bring it into create the shapefiles and then bring it into Tableau to visualize. Yeah, I'm pretty fond of circular maps. I think they have a certain aesthetic that is really nice. I like the way that this has been set up. I like simple maps too, and it really highlights the kind of all the they're called hawker centers, right? which are basically, I think, food courts, right? Is that my kind of my understanding? Really nice food courts. And so yeah, I think it's really well done.
Yeah, I agree. I think
Yeah.
this kind of map you can imagine in a frame on a wall, right?
Yes,
You almost
exactly.
don't need the interactivity, and it's more kind of visually beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think if there's
Yeah.
one thing to maybe consider, is it's a little challenging to see the kind of the circle, especially where the water is. And so I don't know if there's any way like to contrast it with the background, whether that means maybe making the water in the circle a little darker or maybe a different shade than the background. But I do like it kind of because I noticed that there's a white outline, right? I
Yeah.
think. Is
Yeah,
that
there
right?
is. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like there's a
Yeah.
hue around it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So I wonder whether instead of that outline, you could have simply kind of darkened the water a little bit just to kind of so that circle shows up, and then you wouldn't need that white outline instead. But I really like this map, the way it's done. Beautiful.
I
Yeah,
think
there's
it's just called.
nothing on size, right? It's just the
Yeah.
location that they're showing. Or are
Um,
they? No, they it looks like they are a bit
size by
changed in
rating. Yeah. So size.
yeah.
I don't. But they all look very similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we'll move on to the next one. So this one is by Anastasiya, and it's Lighthouses of the World. Feel free to chime in while I'm scrolling down so we can see.
It was nice that when you have a map that also indicates what you're looking at. So in this case, it's a dark world, and the lighthouses are lighting up the map. So that's really nice. I've seen George and others do the lighthouses of like certain places or just certain countries, but this is really nice to light up the world as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this interactivity, which is pretty
Yeah.
cool. It's nice. What do you think, Teddy? Have you got any thoughts?
Yeah, I love dark mode for letters mode. This mode. Maybe it could be better adding some context. Every region, Africa, America, and Asia. But I love dark mode for mapping in Tableau.
I would I notice I can't get back to the full country view. But I noticed as well I think this is a separate sheet because we get the command buttons coming up when I hover over them. So I would just switch those off just in case a user got stuck. It's generally best practice that I follow.
Yeah, I think that's something that a lot of people are not aware of. Also, that you can turn off the keep only, exclude, and those buttons in the tooltip. And if they're not there for a reason, it's very simple to turn it off. I did now try to zoom into or select Norway, obviously, since I'm from Norway. And it doesn't zoom into Norway if you select just Norway on the map. Sorry, on the filter on the right hand side. So Norway is stuck on the top where it belongs, up north, but it doesn't zoom into the country on its own. So there might be something with the layers or something that I think you actually have to zoom out a bit to find Norway now on your page.
Yeah, I think I've broken it.
It means that Norway is disappear.
It's just one big lighthouse there. Or could it be that it's combined with the I haven't selected anything else down here. I just selected the country, and then Norway is just a tiny country up north in my view. So it doesn't zoom in, but in general, when you look at it, or what you did, Sarah, when you just select some of these regions, it really looks nice.
Yeah.
But there's
Right,
something off with the zooming.
Mm.
Zoom into the different regions as well. There you go. You see Norway
Yeah.
way up there.
The bottom of somewhere where you live, somewhere down at the
Yeah,
bottom.
exactly.
Yeah.
I live up there somewhere.
All right. Great job, Anastasia. Moving on, we've got one by Dan, which is a map of mapping.
Yeah, there's a lot of information in this one, I've seen.
Yes, an orienteering map.
And once again, they kind of stick to the theme that the background is a map, but also it's nice that the actual information is we have the gray background, so you can read it and stands out a bit. But there is a lot of information in here, so it's telling a story a lot more than the other ones, the two first ones that basically just give you a map and a title, and it doesn't have a lot more context.
I haven't seen this one, so I'm kind of looking at it right now separately.
Yeah, like this is, it's more than just a map. It's really kind of explaining the process they go through to build the orienteering maps, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that when I went to school doing orientation, it would be more fun to have these interactive maps than the boring old ones, I guess.
Usually give you them in the plastic wallet, don't they? In case you get, in case it rains.
Not in case, when it rains.
Oh, in Bergen, it's one of the rainiest places in the world.
Is there any interactivity there? Oh,
so we have
just
tooltips here.
static.
I would fix, just a quick note, I noticed this map kind of can zoom. I would just fix that because I think it's supposed to be just on Israel. Oh, it is interactive, so yeah.
Nice.
Really interesting.
Yeah. So nice.
And then the next steps is to add multiple layers, it looks
Yes,
like.
basically my players.
And then we have the actual where he's been moving around as well. The last one. Starting point where he parks his car, and then the GPS tracking. Because this one looks like some nerve cells or something, or like brain, whatever. But there's a lot of too many colors for my taste. But I guess that's just to show all the different dates that you were running around. So maybe even a gradient color for just one color from a dark to light would be. I'm not sure, but it is a bit many colors in there, even though you switch between these two maps. There's a nice storytelling.
Yeah,
it is.
is.
I really like the overlays on the maps. I think that's the layers is really cool. In both of those maps, it's nice. Any other thoughts?
No, this is great. It's very interesting.
I think she could. So many data sources. I think that. But
maybe one thought is the map background is a little distracting. I find myself wanting to look at that map sometimes than the other ones, but and the actual maps that we're supposed to look at. it's
Yeah.
a little distracting, but
it's part of the theme, but I agree
Yeah.
as well. When I looked at it first and then say, yeah, okay, we're looking at the map here, but then
Yeah.
I agree, it's a bit too much, perhaps.
I mean,
Yeah.
maybe a little lighter or darker, I think would help. But
Yeah, agreed.
That's why I love tennis cow principle. Keep it simple and one map and one message, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, let's move on. This one is by Heather. Safety in numbers. Must say Heather's been doing some amazing work recently. I keep
Oh,
seeing her
yeah.
pop up on social media.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And her
This is the
pedagogues.
injury paradox for female drivers. So Heather's from Australia, so it's focusing on Australia. This is really cool. I don't even know what we call this. I mean, it's a tile map, but it's not really a hex map, is it?
Yeah, I guess
Or is it?
so. Yeah.
It's a hex divided into 4.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And really detailed in the sense that there's a lot of them. But it's not, yeah, you have to look at the ones, or the kind of the one on the top left to see, try to figure out, because it's drivers involved in accidents, male and female, and injured male and female as well. But is it so that if you look at the one on the big one that kind of explains the color, it says 54% male, that's dark blue, and then 43% female is light blue, right? Or green.
Yeah.
I'm a bit colorblind. And then when you look at the one below there, then the male 44%, that's light blue again, and female is dark blue. Is that correct?
I think
Is that?
so. Yeah,
but
then that's in line with this as well, because it's the color is showing if they're injured or not. It's not the gender.
Yeah. Okay. That was a bit confusing, or you have to think about this to wrap your head around it to see, to understand it, I guess. But
Yeah. I think it's a very creative way to kind of depict the data. And it looks snazzy. I think the challenge is there's kind of two different main pieces of information that you're trying to grapple with on a single map. I wonder if it would have been more helpful if there was two separate maps, one with, just drivers involved in accidents, and then the one just that focuses on injuries, where then you just split the hexagon by half, right? So male, female, or something like that, and then two separate kind of hex maps to show involvement and then injuries. I wonder if that would have been a little bit more effective. It's difficult because you're trying to decipher where the colors are darker, but then you have to decipher, okay, what do the colors represent? But
yeah. One thing I really like is the fact she's got it's quite subtle, but she's zooming in on where Adelaide is in Australia. So if you've got no context, or if you've never heard of Adelaide, you get that. And also she's called out some like key areas, right?
Yes, yeah, where the cities are and things like that.
Yeah.
And some vertex or
Nice
petals
tooltip.
of so it's disappear, I think. So it's miss the information of the wall area in the Adelaide.
It's really nice storytelling, though.
Yes, I mean the overall viz is great. I was just looking at the map specifically.
Yeah. This is cool. I like the
Yeah.
showing the height difference. This is done really well, but it reminds me of that famous chart that's showing the average height of women in different countries.
Mhm.
I'm sure you've all seen that, where the women from India are super tiny, and you've got these like huge women from somewhere in Europe. But this is done really well. It's not like that at all. Yeah, well done, Heather. All right, next up we have Iaroslava. This is destructive earthquakes.
Okay. This is Ukrainian, right?
Sorry?
This is Ukraine.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
This is absolutely beautiful. When I first
Yeah.
saw this,
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
Yes.
really drew me in. Wanted to kind of look at it more carefully. Yeah, I mean, this is really well done. And she actually does. I mean, she creates some really great maps in general.
Color combination is great. I think the color combination is great.
Yeah, I really like how everything just blends in very nicely, right?
There's a lot of text though, so you need to spend some time going through everything. I would have loved to have a show hide button on some of the text boxes, so you could basically, or even more focus on the map on its own as well. You have the world map, so you see where it is. Then you have the actual map, and then you even have a zoom in on the Rankea zone as well. So really go into detail.
Yeah, I like that kind of 3-stage approach. I think that's really nice. I might have made the map bigger. I think to your point, I think there's a lot of text, which is good. It's good for context, but maybe I think the map is like the centerpiece, right? Maybe this piece could have been a little bit bigger, since that's the focus of the viz.
The small the focus, the more zoomed in map.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, yeah. Feels like most of the activity
Right.
runs around there, right?
Yeah, because it's not that's well, it's zoomed in, but not as much, right? So could be that you could, if you had some dynamic zone zooming in here, you could click on it to expand, so you could really fill the screen with that zone as well. That would be nice.
Yeah. I wonder if a little bit of transparency or would have helped with the rings, just to kind of see them, kind of where they're very clustered. I wonder if a little bit of transparency would have helped.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of those small ones, especially in this zoomed in area.
Yeah.
And she has actually turned off the on the tooltip the command buttons and everything, but then you won't get the benefit of when you're selecting multiple circles, and then on the top of the tooltip you say the number of items. That's quite helpful sometimes to see how many are there actually. So you won't see that in here. So you won't see the number of earthquakes.
Yeah.
The circles don't seem to match. Well, I don't know. I'll have to kind of dig more deeply.
They're matching to the magnitude, isn't it, on the left-hand side?
Yeah, I'm trying to actually, like, in the bigger map, trying to match some of the circles with the ones that are being shown in the zoomed map. I can't seem to kind of find like the corresponding ones. But maybe but like Sarah said, if it was zoomed in a bit more or bigger, I think it might have helped.
Yeah, I think so. You can use the slider on the left to select the magnitude.
Oh, okay.
So I've narrowed it down to just like the higher end kind of magnitude
I
ones.
see.
Yeah.
And another tiny thing as well, you have the where you're zooming now, you have the size of the magnitude there, different colors, and then on below the map you have the size as well. So it's both the size and the color are indicating the same thing. Of course, the larger, the the worse it is. But those two could also be next to each other, so that when you're looking at the colors and the size, you see them corresponding and going from the small to the biggest one as the colors do.
Yeah, or even that could be combined into a single key, right? So
Yeah.
the colored circles could be sized as
Yeah.
well.
Interesting.
Because that gets a little lost down here. I mean, I like how it's designed. I like how it blends in, but I almost missed it.
Yeah, nitpicking, isn't it what we're calling this? Those tiny details, but still, yeah.
Right.
This is what we would have done if we would have had this brilliant idea, right?
Yes, exactly. Like very tiny little details. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
It's nice that I appreciate the context. Like we've even got the Richter scales in here, which this kind of information is so often forgotten. It's nice to see it included.
So
I saw this one. Sorry, the number of earthquakes by country on the top left. It says press to filter, and I filtered and I looked at the map, but nothing happened. On the left hand side there, this table with the colors. Okay. But it does filter the bar chart or histogram on the top, but it doesn't filter the map. Okay. I think that this would be nice to even filter the map as well. You have a filter on that slider. That's why you have the red ones down there.
Yeah, I know. I filtered on Romania as well.
Yeah, so if you now click on any of those on the bar there, you see that nothing happens on the map. But if you scroll up, you will see that
it's changing. Yeah, I saw that one changing at the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you really would like an IronViz feedback, I think that the text is a bit too small, isn't it? It should be at least 12 for user readability.
It's 12 or 14, I think.
Yeah, that was the
14,
guidelines, right? Yeah.
Yeah. It's bigger.
So just make the viz bigger. That's all.
Yeah. But no, great job. It's a beautiful viz.
Yeah,
sure.
I absolutely love the background, the way she did the background. It's just absolutely beautiful.
There's some really subtle design kind of tricks as well. Like at the very, very top, you can see like the
Oh yeah,
like
yeah.
which I don't know what you call those, like the epicenter kind of.
Yeah, epicenter, I think.
Yeah.
Very correct.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Very nice.
And then the map background is just beautifully done. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, the map itself is really nice. Yeah. All right. And next up we have Jiale.
Yeah, that link didn't work.
Oh, there's no vizzes. That's a shame. Okay. All right. Next up we have Kirk. This one is looking at the distance traveled for Formula One.
Yeah, well, I guess we shouldn't go into any of the environmental issues in here. How much they actually are traveling to drive these cars back and forth. Would be nice to have this as a as you have on the pages shelf. You can kind of just play it, and then it could show from one to the next as well.
Yeah.
That's just because I'm a bit lazy and I don't want to click around, you know. What does it actually do when you look at when you click at one? You have two multiple. Is it the flight and then the travel on road? to
It's the blue is the previous race. The yellow is the next race. So, and the red is the race. Well, the red is the race number. So in this
Yeah,
one, they
so
traveled from Emilia Romagna to Monaco
yeah,
to Canada. Is that right?
yeah. Look, so from
Yeah.
Italy to Monaco, and then to
Mm-hmm.
Canada.
Somewhere near
And
where
what?
Dennis lives, right?
Yeah, and then that's
Yeah, it's pretty close.
because this is the annoying thing about what they're doing, right? Because when you look at this, they go from Italy to Monaco, really close. Then they go all the way to Canada. If you click on 9 now, they go from Canada back to Spain.
Makes a
So
lot of sense.
why don't they go from Italy to Spain when they're in Europe and then go to, you know, considering, but I don't know.
Is there a way of I kind of want to see the whole thing?
Yeah, I was trying to select multiple, but you can't hold in control or anything, it looks like, or shift. So you can only see one at a time.
I almost
So
want to see
yeah,
that kind of zigzagging and like across the globe.
Yeah.
yeah. It says that they're traveling or driving 7,500 kilometers during a season on the tarmac, but they're traveling a bit more through the air. That's for sure. And then not just doing one continent or one region at a time. They're going a lot back and forth, and they've been to multiple places in the U.S. as well. So, but they don't do everything in the U.S. when they're in the U.S.
Right.
That's what I meant with the
Yeah.
from a perspective of the environment. it's not good, but
I mean, this one's Azerbaijan to Singapore to USA, then
Wow.
to they go back to Singapore and then to Mexico. Is that right?
I don't. They only do one in Singapore, right? So there's something strange there.
Okay,
So
Singapore.
no. If you go to the next one, Singapore was the previous one. So they did the race in Singapore. So Singapore is the previous one. Then they go to the States, and next one will be Mexico. So when you click 20, then it will say USA first, then Mexico, and then they go to Brazil.
Right. Okay. I think there's something wrong here. Brazil, 0 kilometers away.
Yeah.
From Mexico, yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say, I think we spent a lot of time in just exploring the data on this one. We haven't even spoken about the map.
Right. Yeah. I think it works well. I think the one thing that I might change, just for me, it'll be easier to follow the lines, is to actually label the actual points as you switch. So that way, you don't kind of go back and forth between kind of the places on top and then back down to the lines and things like that. So I might just label the actual points as you're picking the races. That might just be a kind of easier for the reader to kind of follow what's going on.
Even add in on each. So in this particular one, we're starting in the US. So that circle, that could be a line or an arrow. So an arrow going from US towards Mexico, and then from Mexico, a new arrow going to Brazil. Then it would be really easy to understand these.
Although that might be hard in Tableau, right? To get that arrow to point the right direction.
If you add a new layer and you use for the unique locations, you just add in, instead of a circle, you have a shape, and the shape should be, depending on if it's a starting or endpoint, the arrow goes in whatever direction. But of course, which direction should it go? That's
exactly.
That would be, but at least you could.
That's the hardest part. But
yeah, so maybe not an arrow, but or a symbol rather, that we're leaving this place, we're going to this place somehow.
or maybe just 1, 2, 3 or something like that. Like instead of like symbols with the actual numbers, that might be helpful.
And
well.
wanted to consider maybe the type of fonts if Kirk use. So it's something about, I don't know, it's not Arial, I think.
What do you mean? But the
maybe it could be changed to the Arial fonts.
yes, the fonts itself.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't see.
I don't know if this is the font that it was designed in. Like, I don't. Sometimes my laptop shows things differently. I don't know how
If you
it's coming
click,
up.
if you click on 22, by the way, I just
Yeah.
saw something fun there. 22 plus
Oh,
plus
sorry,
1.
sorry. It's early.
So they're really flying far there, right?
Oh, yeah.
There's no direct line apparently for that one.
But it's the curvature of the globe, right?
Yeah,
Look.
I know, but that was
It's actually a straight line, but it's just
Looks like a McDonald's arch, right?
I'm loving it.
It's
yeah.
what I would like to see on here is, because we're clicking around and we're like, wow, this is far, but you kind of lose that as you go through because you forget what came before. So it'd almost be nice if there was like for each one as you progress through, you had like a path, like maybe a grey path of where they've been already.
Yeah.
So then you'd have that story to date, and then you could just continue to reveal more as you go through.
right.
Yeah. The one thing that I realize now is that the to the right of Qatar it says traveled. So as you progress, if you click on 1, you see they have 0 kilometers traveled. So this is summarizing. So in the end, they have traveled 138,000 kilometers throughout the season.
Oh, I see.
So if you click on 1, it says 0 because that's where they're starting. But then again, they didn't start there, right? Because all the teams are located all over the place. So I'm not sure if they actually go also, but this is just out of curiosity. But if you have a team located in, let's say, France, in Paris, do they then go from Bahrain to Paris and then go to Saudi Arabia because it's 2 weeks later, or do they go directly and do they follow this path all along as well? But of course, there's multiple teams, so that would be really difficult to show.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm assuming they might go home or back to where they train in between, because it's not. They are, like you said, there's a couple of weeks between each one of these, right? I don't know. What do we think about the map itself?
Clean and simple.
Yep.
And the highlight is the path anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the use of the dark layer, and I think Kirk, I mean, he took out almost everything except for like just the actual land masses, right? Which I think obviously allows the points and the lines to really stand out, which is nice.
Yeah, I agree. It's a great viz. It's a good story as well. It's fun to interact. All right, next up we have Lauren, and this is looking at Eurovision winners. Completely different topic. All right.
And something for us in the Eurozone and Australia, obviously, because they're part of it for some strange reason. But
yeah,
you guys heard about Eurovision as well?
I saw the movie.
That's all you need to know, right?
Yeah,
Will
Ferrell. Yeah.
Basically, I don't know what's the Eurovision.
So Eurovision is a European song contest That actually
Okay.
includes Australia as well.
Okay.
So you have a representative from each country. They enter a song, like a band or a solo singer, and then everyone votes. All the countries vote on who they think should win. But it's always a bit wacky. Like yeah.
Yeah, Norway has won 3 times, which we're happy about, but we are also the country with the most last places and 0 points.
More
So
than
you can
us?
actually,
Really?
yeah, we're the worst.
Wow, I thought we were the worst. Norway always has some fun entries. You normally have like rock bands, right?
Yeah, we have a combination of things, but we've have had a lot of fun participants. That's for sure.
Yeah. All right. So looking at this, so we've got 1998 to 2012. The host country. So
I like the this is something that I love to do as well with maps, to just show or have a field map to show only because I do a lot of data from Norway, obviously, at work. And why should we see Sweden when we are only looking at data for Norway? So you see, for example, if you go to, I think, to 2011, Norway was not even part of the finals. So you don't even see Norway anymore. Norway is gone. So you only see the countries that are part of this particular year. So that's something I like.
yeah,
with the maps.
right. Like looks like there's text here, but I can't see it.
Yeah, that's the top 10 for each year. So if you manage to zoom out a bit.
Okay.
There you go. So you have the top 10 on the right hand side. You have the host country, the winner that has a in this particular year is somewhere down south in Azerbaijan, isn't it? Yeah. So you have the trophy, and you have semi-finalists. So it's a map on its own. If you hover over the semi-finalist, so that's actually a map with all the because
okay.
you have semi-finals, and then some people go to the final. In this year, not Norway, obviously, and and the colors, those are.
These are
Yeah.
it's the kind of some
Yeah.
context of the countries, like former socialist bloc, former
Yeah.
Yugoslavia, independent.
Yeah, because there is a lot of politics in Eurovision. When last time we won, we had his I think his mother is from Russia. He's a violinist. He had a really good song. But all the East European, or sorry, what should we call them? The the former socialist bloc countries, they voted for Norway that year. So that's a lot of that happening.
Yeah.
Norway always gives way more points to Sweden than Swedes give to us. That's why we don't like them. So I'm not sure why we still give them so many points.
Yeah, and then there's the running joke that we get in the UK: 0 points, nil point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I like this. It's fun. I think often with maps, some of the challenges is around like landmass, right? And I think with some of these countries, particularly in Europe, they're so small.
Yeah, and
Like
Russia
when
is
we
so
look at
big.
this, Russia's like huge. But you have a lot of in like Central and Eastern Europe. You've got a lot of countries kind of grouped together. It becomes quite difficult to see them, especially if they're winners. You have the tiny little trophy, right?
Yeah. But when you hover over the map, you if you just on the map, you get the logo or the map. Sorry, no, just hover over Russia, then you get the flag, and then you get the on the circle itself. Then you get the number of points.
Oh, okay.
Maybe you could combine all that information just on the circle itself, and then turn off the disable selection, isn't it, on the map layer for the countries itself.
Right.
Just trying to figure out the last time Norway won, so we could have a look at that, but I can't remember which year it was. I did see that if you go to 2009, we won, so we're good. The most points ever at that time for somebody who won. And that's the half Russian guy, the song Fairy Tale. So that's something for everyone out there. Go to Spotify or Tidal, search this Fairy Tale and have a nice day.
All right. There's some information in here. I missed that. That's nice bits. It's fun.
Just going back
Oh, yeah.
quickly, Sarah.
Sorry.
I think the one thing would be maybe to center the map a little bit. So like move it manually to so that it isn't cut off. And then the other thing is, I think the symbol for the trophy, is that a trophy? What is that?
Yeah.
Like a
It's a
microphone?
trophy.
Yeah,
It's a
the
trophy.
winner.
Well,
Oh,
it
the
might be
winner.
it might be a
It's a microphone though, right? Yeah.
It's a silhouette of this picture, I think.
Okay. I think that on the map, I think it just needs to be a lot bigger because in a lot of cases, especially when there's a lot of white circles, you can't even really readily see where that trophy is, and maybe a different color.
Yeah.
That make it really pop. Would be
Maybe,
kind of just a couple suggestions I have.
I was thinking maybe if it was gold or whatever, anything that's not the same colors as the countries.
Yeah, it doesn't stand out for certain years. That's kind of the main thing. Like in 2007, if you see 2007, it doesn't automatically pop out.
No, it's in between there somewhere in Serbia, right?
Yeah, it's
so
like right there. Yeah.
So maybe a bit bigger and a different color, that would help. And the same thing as with a couple of the other maps, turn off the command buttons on the tooltip, because now I removed Russia and I can't get rid of it. Can't get it back again unless I reload. And do you need to have the on the left-hand side those command or the buttons, the navigation buttons? Do you need to zoom in and out and have the radial selection and all that? That's possible to turn off as well, because we're looking at the map, and as long as you select the different years, it's still selecting the correct ones.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if Russia hasn't been to a final in any of those ones to see if it actually, because it doesn't look like it's zooming in anywhere, at least as long as Russia is part of it, since it takes up a lot of space.
Cool. Okay. Next up, we have Lilla. And this is looking at a brief history of Zaanstad in the Netherlands, I think.
Sounds like it. Does it say inspired by Dennis here somewhere, or no?
That's beautifully done. This is well done.
Yes,
really nice.
Yes. The color combination, not too contrast, I think, but it's smooth for our eyes.
Yeah. Like when I first saw this, it really caught my eye. The one thing that I thought might be helpful is that there's a whole paragraph right above the map, the history of the towns, and it kind of goes through each of the towns. I wonder if it would have been helpful to have that language under as a kind of a caption under each of the on the actual map, right? Because I found myself going back and forth. Like when I read about one town, I kept on going back and forth between that paragraph and the map to see, where's that town and stuff like that. So if the actual, and it doesn't seem like it's only like a sentence each for each of the towns. So maybe it would have been helpful to have it as a caption or annotation on the actual map itself.
Or maybe even if it was interactive, so you selected it
Oh
place
yeah,
on the map. That could
yeah,
work too, right?
yeah.
But yeah, it's quite. Otherwise, it's like you have this block of text, or it's quite difficult to pull out those individual locations.
Yeah. And if you took that out, you could have Lilla could have made the map even bigger, and then there would have been a little more space to kind of put some of that text as well.
Yeah, or at least have some space between the text and the map as well, because now it's going across or close to Cromany or whatever, that first city as well. So yeah, but nice, the map in itself, and of course the RMS feedback with the text, the history of the towns is too small and a bit difficult to read with the green background compared to the other one.
Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on because we've got, it's almost like you've got 3 different levels of text here. So you've got the bigger text, medium, and then the small.
Yeah.
I don't think I've even seen, I've ever seen anyone do that before. Normally it's.
Yeah, I don't see the point of that. I guess it's not because it's less important, I think, but it's more text the further down you go. So to get the place for everything, it's smaller. But going back to Dennis' suggestion, either a annotation or when you click on any city, then it pops up like a show hide kind of thing with that text, or even just have it on the tooltip, because there's a lot of information and nice tooltips, so it could be there as well.
It's nice. There's so much information packed in here in this key. It's super clear.
And like the number of windows, that's the average property value.
You
That's
have
nice.
the color of the window. I've lost it now. Orange window. Here are the most inhabitants with Dutch roots. So in Westzaan, yeah, got an orange window. Cool. Great job. All right, next up we have Mohit. They were here for spices. Okay. This is nice. I'm just going to scroll through, look at it quickly.
I haven't seen this one yet.
It's like watching horror movie.
None of the maps are fixed, so it's just one thing I'm noticing as I go through.
Yeah, the trick for that is if you actually turn off all the map options, like if you don't need them, it actually locks the map in place.
Yeah.
So that then as a user is scrolling or through a viz with their mouse, once they hit the map, it won't move the map whatsoever with the cursor. So that's the trick, I think. Is it, if you lock that map, then it won't move anywhere.
Yeah, something I always forget how to do. And I know if I click all the buttons and switch all of them off,
yeah, exactly,
it'll eventually work.
yeah. I always just kind of turn them all off.
Yeah. Especially when you've got maps like this where, like, it's only relevant to this, well, to India in this case.
Right. I mean, that one I don't think needs to move, right? So
no, not at all. Yeah, now I've messed it up. But Go away.
Because otherwise the user they can't scroll through the viz and then without messing up the map, right?
Yeah,
So,
I'm scrolling with my mouse, and that's why I'm messing it up each time.
it's not clear what the value of the first map is.
I think it's
About the
just,
India's independence from Sarah and her gang.
and this viz is all about how terrible the British Empire was. Right? It wasn't me. It wasn't me. I wasn't around
and how small England is, right? Compared to India.
how we stole everything from everyone, right? And we still haven't given it back. Yeah.
Talking about Commonwealth countries, I think.
Yeah, but it's not clear. Like okay, so we're map the world, and then you have here's the UK or Britain, and here's the India.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fine, but it's not clear why there's a map there.
I think most people know roundabout where India is and where Britain is, right? I would probably take this map out. Maybe it's just to break things up when they get into smooth.
Yeah,
just
maybe.
You have the text and the story.
If you scroll all the way down, because now I also have scrolled through, that was the map I really liked and was really informative as well. The bottom one with just the circles. It shows that only 22 countries have never been invaded by Britain. Go Britain. But this is really this was really informative and a nice map as well, where you can see all the countries of the world, which one has been invaded, and you can toggle on and off to see the instead of having the circles, you can toggle on the flag as well. Of course, then it's way more noisy, but it gives you also an indication of where are the different countries. Never been to Sweden, I can see, but
we also we invaded ourselves according to this, which is yeah.
And I like that if you look in Europe, the Vatican City, Monaco, Andorra, Liechtenstein, and Luxembourg, the smallest countries in all of Europe, you never invaded those ones. Just ignore them and go for the go for the bigger one.
Yeah, there's a comment up here that said where is it? The English at this time did not produce anything that was remotely of interest to what was effectively an Indian superpower. And then the English had no products of value to the Mughals.
Yeah, it was a one-way street basically. It's a lot of information.
It is.
I didn't understand if you stop there. There's something about the timeline step size. I didn't understand. You can change the step size, but I can't see that anything is happening in the viz. If you click on the question mark, there's a slider on timeline step size. I was expecting it to zoom in or something like that, but I can't. For me, at least, it didn't change anything.
No.
There's a lot of information in here. It really takes some time to go through, and of course the obvious annoying when you scroll down and you zoom in or out of the map. So that's something that should be changed, because there is the India then and now. Those are also looks like maps, but those are just pictures, I guess. So there's no zooming there.
Are those just images? Those aren't actual.
It looks like
layers
it's
or anything.
I'm not sure, but
images,
okay.
Again, we've got command buttons on there. These are showing, these are the independent countries now. Right?
Yeah.
The last map seems a little. It's not clear where it fits into the story. Like if we're talking it from an Iron Viz, like you start focusing on India and spices and things, and then there's this kind of broader kind of story about here are all the countries that have never been invaded by Britain. It's not
Yeah, but there was
entirely
something
clear.
called the
Yeah,
British
you've got
East India Company, so
the
they owned or ruled
Oh,
India
I see.
yeah. So
Okay.
for
the
200
East
years.
India Company were famous. They kind of like did the slavery and all that lovely stuff, right?
Right.
They were like the worst of the worst. We a couple of years back in the UK, we had some race riots, and there was a lot of statues from people that kind of led the East India Company that got pulled down because people realized, hey, this wasn't a good person, and why are we celebrating them? Yeah, so they were quite famous for that, and they were the ones that kind of just did a lot of moving of stuff and people, right?
Oh, I
So
see. Okay.
getting raw materials from other countries that we'd invaded, getting slaves to come over as well. So I think it's kind of putting it into context that yes, this happened in India, but it wasn't unique to India, right?
Yeah, it
That makes sense.
does say here that 1913 the empire had 400 million people, so the largest empire in history. So, and then Brexit came, and now it's just downhill from here.
But I mean, it was relatively recently that a lot of the countries got independence, like in the last 100 years. Right?
Yeah,
But yeah, this is
my favorite map was the last one. If we're looking at maps, the storytelling, we haven't gone into all the detail, of course, in here because there's so much. But like the background, dark background, the focus on Britain and India.
mhm. Yeah, it's really good. Okay, let's move on. Next up we have Raisa. And this is the world population metrics.
Mhm.
Similar map actually, without the like the one with the filter off on Mohit's.
Yeah, there's no zooming here. That's good.
And
I
so
saw this on
huge
social
numbers.
media. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's quite cool because you can flip between different metrics.
Yeah, and it's all the vizzes or the circles are different type of visualizations as well.
Yeah. It's a lot of information packed in. It's pretty good.
Yeah, she used Tristan's tool, right?
She did, yeah, but she used it's the bee swarm, right?
The bee swarm to
yeah.
try to so working with latitude and longitude and plugging that in, and then to kind of get the size of the circles and then make sure that they don't overlap and things like that. It's kind of cool.
Yeah,
how she did that.
I think even Tristan was impressed because I didn't even think about doing it like this.
Yeah, I do like how she included the world map, like the actual world map beneath.
Mm.
I think one of my I generally, I don't do a whole lot of tile maps. But and one of my main issues with tile maps is you kind of warp geography to a point where you can't automatically recognize where something is, right? So like the map in the previous viz, it's all the countries, but because geography is kind of compromised in some way in an effort to make sure everything's the same size, you can't automatically without kind of interacting with it. Oh, this country is this country versus that country, right? Because geography has been compromised. Whereas here, geography is compromised to a certain extent, but I think because the world map is kind of overlaid on top, below it as a background, I think it really helps. It works pretty well, I think.
Yeah, I think the placement's not perfect,
Yeah,
but I think
yeah,
it's good enough that
yeah,
you get the idea.
right.
Well, Norway is way out in the ocean, so I don't like this map. But I agree with you, Dennis, as well. It gives you that extra context of where it actually roughly is located, and of course, you can get annoyed by those one that is missing a bit or something, but that
Right.
doesn't take away from the information and everything else.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
France is in the UK, which is quite fun.
Yeah. There's a lot of countries in Europe, so that's why.
Yeah.
I just focusing on my country, Indonesia. Amazingly, maybe top 5, top 6, the world population in the world, the largest.
On the median age and fertility map, I think it's well done for the median age. I'm not sure about whether the symbols for fertility rate. It's hard for me to kind of decipher what's kind of going on. It's just little points. I think the colors help a little bit, but maybe it's just a bit more. They're kind of small for me as well, so it's kind of hard for me to see what's kind of going on.
Yeah, I guess the more dots, the higher the fertility rate, but it's not, especially when the circles also are very small. Somewhere it's.
Yeah.
But then again, you have the tooltip, so you get the information there as well.
Right. Exactly.
Also, I think just at a glance you can see Africa.
Yeah.
Right, has the higher fertility rates.
Yeah.
I do appreciate the annotations. I really like how they, how she's called out the highest and lowest, I think, for each of these views.
Yeah, this is really well done. And maybe it's just me, like on the very first map with the flags. I know how people use flags in their vizzes. I don't know most of the country's flags, to be honest. So when I'm looking at a viz and it has just flags, like it doesn't automatically. I have to interact with it. I have to hover over it because I don't recognize maybe half of these flags I probably won't recognize. But maybe that's me.
Yeah,
maybe that's just me.
We play a lot of YouTube, guess the flag kind of games, which is always fun. So I've got a lot better.
Yeah, and you can learn, Dennis. You can learn every time you learn a new flag when you look at the viz.
Okay,
Dennis, we need to get you one of those big posters with the flags of the world.
Oh yeah. That's my next kind of task is to learn flags.
No, this is really, really well done. Okay. All right. So next up we have Sayan, and this is looking at Kolkata Metro. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's cool at first when you look at it because the picture in the background and the logo and everything, and then you have to start trying to interpret what's going on in here. And I think that then the background is it's a bit taking away a bit of the focus, and it should be less focus on the picture than the metro lines, because it's a bit difficult to read some of the text.
It's a bit distracting. I would say about the text as well. We have lots of different text sizes and some very, very small text on here. So
And multiple colors.
yeah, so just be looking for more consistency and at least keeping to a minimum of size 12 if we think about Iron Viz. Right.
And what is happening here? I was moving my mouse around and suddenly it's switching to where? There's some hover to highlight on the colors on the right hand side.
Oh.
So the hover thing, that's something that I try to avoid as much as possible because it's if you don't know what you're doing or just the mouse is moving around and suddenly something is filtered or highlighted that you haven't planned.
So the bigger circles in the map are actually the busier stations. Is that correct?
Yeah, it looks like the yearly passenger figures says something about.
So the busier stations.
Yeah, the swell of the line, at least it says something about.
Yeah, and that corresponds with the thickness of the line as well, it looks like. And then the blue one is the first underwater network, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
And what is happening with that circle? You can click on it, apparently.
This one, the big one.
Oh. Yeah.
Doesn't seem to do anything.
If you just click in the middle there, you see that it looks like a. Yeah, there's something.
Something going on, but I can't see.
Yeah, and if you click on the just in the or on the side, kind of a. What is it called? Not the pie chart, but the donut chart on top of something. So I'm not sure if this actually, it doesn't do anything on the right hand side at least, but it's clickable.
I think maybe the sizing is it needs to be flipped or something. Maybe it's hiding something. I don't know.
Yeah, because it's quite interactive. If you even click on that tiny circle, then it's highlighting something else in there, but I'm not sure what it's doing.
Right.
There's no instruction, so on this side, I mean, we've got a hover to highlight here. It'd be good to have some instructions here too.
Yeah, the colors could pop a little bit as you hover over each of the lines. So on the right, you can hover over it, but they don't pop well, like, and so one strategy could be to really, the colors pop, like they could pop, but then you have to make the other lines, instead of a highlight, make them gray or something like that, right? I think that might be helpful.
Yeah. I would consider moving this over to the left so it's right next to the map. But I agree, Dennis, I think we can see those lines with the high passenger numbers really well.
Right.
But the lines like to the north, they're quite thin, right?
Yeah.
It's the purple line. If you hover over on the purple line, is that on the same path as the blue line? Because it looks like it's highlighting somewhat the blue line, because if you now switch to the blue line, it's still the same. I wasn't. Then again, I'm a bit color.
No, it's the purple line is this one here. It's just because the blue line's so thick.
Yeah.
And then it's graying.
And it goes, it comes with the graying, it goes a bright kind of whitish gray.
Yeah,
right?
I think they're using the highlight action, right?
Yeah.
In the dashboard action, the highlight one. So which doesn't, I don't think works well in a dark mode, which this dark background, which this is. So and if it was a light background, yeah, maybe that might work a little better.
Yeah, because it's almost flipped, isn't it? So it's rather than going like graying out, it's brightening.
Right. And so in this case, like that, as I was suggesting, I mean, you would have to kind of manually kind of put that in as a parameter and things like that to try to create that effect on a dark mode.
I mean, you could consider maybe doing the Brian Moore highlight trick. And if you don't know what it is, Google it. You'll find it. But that one would remove the highlight, so that might work. So
Oh yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
yeah. I don't know.
This is just kind of like a suggestion. I think the map could be a lot bigger, because it would be kind of great to be able to see what's going, and then maybe some context of kind of where this is situated, in terms of the broader region or something like that. I think that would be helpful. So one of my strategies is often like you'll notice that the map, if you just focus on the map, it's more vertically aligned. And so one strategy to try to make this bigger is to create a more vertical aligned viz. I know that doesn't quite fit like in the dashboard world or space, but to try to make that map bigger, because I think the map is kind of the main story, I think, in this. And so the effort should be kind of focused on, I think, trying to make this map bigger.
Yeah, I agree. I would make this long form, bring the bands down, so that you bring the bands down to the top. I really like those. And then have the intro text, which is at the moment on the far right. So you set the scene. This is the metro, right? Then you'd have your map, and it all in all its glory in the middle, and then maybe have some of these elements below.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Or find some open spaces within the map itself to kind of fit some of these pieces.
Yeah.
Within the map. Yeah. Cool. I always like a good subway line map.
Yeah.
Those are always intriguing to me. So nicely done.
All right. Nice. Last one we have is by Stanley. This is the comic shops optimization game. We've been all over the place for topics today.
Yeah. Wait, you're not gonna look at mine that I submitted?
You didn't ask for feedback, Dennis.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
We could look at it at the end.
No. Not at all. Not at all.
Okay, so here we're looking at Chicago. The idea is if you wanted to visit some comic book shops, how could you optimize your journey, right?
Right.
Click in the pop-up window, remove from, yeah, there you go. I didn't get that on the tooltip. So you got that to get rid of some of the selections in there. There you go. Yeah, it's a lot of interactivity.
Yeah, it's nice. It's fun.
And what are that's schools, and so but you have comic shops and then you have schools. Is that why do we need schools in there if I'm gonna go to comic shops?
That's the audience, right? Kids.
I have 6,000 comic books in my room that I'm sitting at now, so not that I need to avoid any schools or anything, so that's fine, but could be that's that as well. But there's a lot of comic book shops. That's cool, and you can basically just click on them, download the PDF, and bring them along. But yeah, so this, well, it does say total pupils covered. So where should you put get your new shop up and running? I guess more for that rather than for you to move around, I guess, or it covers both demographics.
I think you're right. And then we have the co-pilot, which shows you the kind of the rent, the coverage. So you can really optimize where you're going to put your shop.
Yeah, so it's more for people who would like to set up shop, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
I know. I had a conversation with him about this. It's kind of more like a way to kind of feature what could be done in Tableau, like in regards to a location analysis or something like that. That's kind of done. People might use like when you're opening a business or stuff, trying to figure out the best optimal place to open a business. And you can, he could put in schools, but there could be other kind of features that you can put in to kind of optimize that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's some spatial calculations. So you have the shop
Yeah,
radius
yeah,
parameter,
yeah.
how many are covered, and so on.
Right. So there's the buffer. I think you might have used the intersect function as well, or yeah. Kind of cool, kind of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can download the PDF once you're done, which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really different. So I like it. Cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of streets, that's for sure, when looking at the map. But you can't zoom in and out in the map.
No, it's all set. Yeah.
Which makes sense.
He actually turned off all the map options in this one.
We got there in the end, the last one. So it's been really fun. Well done, everyone. It's been really nice to go through the entries and share our feedback with you. So I'll end the call here, but thanks everyone.